Mo Brooks under fire today for the words he used during a speech before the unrest at the Capitol on Wednesday.
Thousands have signed a petition titled Mo Brooks Must Resign. Democrats are also asking for him to step down or at least get a censure. And the congressman joins us now with his side of the story. And Congressman Brooks, you were very impassioned as we saw you talking to that Save America crowd on Wednesday morning. But when you told them, quote, "This is the day we take names and kick ass," what did you exactly envision happening after that?
Well, I was hoping that we would have a serious debate on the House and Senate floor, and the people who were there would know who it was that was supportive of voter fraud and election theft and who is willing to fight for an honest and accurate election system. Little did I know, by the way, past experience, all Trump rallies, as far as I'm aware, have been peaceful. So this one was certainly out of the ordinary. I don't know what the mechanics were that caused it to get that way. And so that we emphasize when we're talking about kicking ass, the Democrats this past 3 months, they just kicked ours. And the ass, you know, that's biblical. Donkey is the symbol of the Democratic Party. And so we need to get that thing kicked a little bit in 2022 and 2024. So my job at that rally was to be like a locker room coach and try to raise the spirit, because quite frankly they were kind of despondent with the November 3rd results and the derriere kicking that the Democrats gave us in Georgia the night before.
So, Congressman, as you said, you raised their spirits, if you will. Then you were the lead-in to the president. The president spoke. Folks were riled up. You walked down to the Capitol. You got inside. You heard and felt the attack in chambers. Did you think back to what you had just said on the ellipse? Did you have any regrets when you started hearing the gunshots in the Capitol building? Do you feel partially responsible?
Well, you've asked a lot of questions there. Which one do you want me to approach first? And before I go any further,
whatever
I wasn't
order.
really the lead-in. I wasn't really the lead-in for the president. I spoke around 9, I think it was, maybe 9:30, somewhere in there, and he spoke hours later. So there are many, many, many speakers in between us. But pick one question you want me to respond to, and I'm more than happy to do so.
Okay, you walked down to the Capitol. You walked into the building. You started the chamber on the electoral process. Did you think back to the words you said at the ellipse when you started hearing the chamber doors close, people ducking for cover, and the gunshots? Do you feel regret?
Well, I never heard gunshots. Okay, I did not hear any gunshots, first off. And no, it never occurred to me that anyone would engage in any kind of violence as a result of my speech or any others. From what I understand with Donald Trump's speech, you know, he wanted people to go protest. I wanted people to go protest because I thought what happened with the elections, with the voter fraud and election theft, was horrible for the American Republic. But notwithstanding that, traditionally, we have lots of people who protest at the Capitol, who encircle the Capitol, who are outdoors, and they do their chants. They make their presence known. The fact that there was violence, that happens occasionally, of course, never to this degree in my experience, but I see no relationship between my remarks before the ellipse crowd and what happened at the Capitol.
So you do not feel partially responsible for what happened?
Oh, absolutely not. There's no relationship whatsoever. And I understand how political foes try to make things out of something that there's not. But if you show the full speech on your show, and I would encourage you to do so, it's quite clear that I'm talking about the 2022 and 2024 elections. And that's where we really need to get in gear, because while the election that just happened is very depressing, it's behind us. The next one is 2022 and 2024, and I was focused on the 2022 and 2024 elections, and I think in my remarks, within 60 seconds, maybe 120 seconds before the remarks that y'all like to quote in the news media, that's what I was talking about. And so that was a part of all that.
Congressman, you've blamed Antifa for the deaths and the property damage at the Capitol. A new report, though, from the Department of Justice today reveals there's no indication of Antifa being in that crowd. I want to ask you, if you thought Antifa might be in the crowd, I understand you slept on the floor of your office for many days concerned about that. Why would you ask all these people to head to the Capitol if Antifa was part of that crowd?
Well, you never know when you get information what is actionable intelligence and what is just intelligence. I was not persuaded at that point that there was Antifa in the audience at the ellipse next to the White House. But in any event, I'm quite confident that Antifa was not going to react to my remarks whatsoever. If anything, they probably were tuned out and doing whatever they wanted to do. And I would disagree with a little bit of the information that you just shared.
All right, let's
from
hear
what
it.
I understand, according to Deseret News and townhall.com, the individual who was taking the photographs or the film of the lady who was shot standing close to her had recently participated in both Antifa and BLM demonstrations and rallies in which some people have lost their lives.
Okay,
now
so
I don't know if this is true. We're getting a lot of different information, and I want to caution everybody: wait until the investigation is over with.
Yes,
we don't know after a day or two.
We
wait until these people are interviewed and you have testimony under oath. Don't rush to judgment. Let's wait and see.
We're not rushing, but we do have the Department of Justice report today. So are you telling me that is not a credible source? The Department of Justice has said there was no Antifa.
I'm sure that that's preliminary, and I'm sure that that's going to change in some shape, form, or fashion as a more thorough investigation is done. Again, you have the New York Post last night saying that law enforcement had identified 2 Antifa members to them. I don't know if that's an accurate report by the New York Post or not. I don't know if what was at townhall.com combined with Deseret News is true or not. I do know that on Tuesday, the day before this event took place, a congressman informed me that he had been informed by the Capitol Police, people who should know, that they were getting intelligence that there were going to be Antifa people present dressed as Trump supporters. Whether that intelligence was good or bad, I don't know. Whether it was true or not, I don't know. That's why we need to have the investigation. But the idea of dismissing Antifa, when this has all the fingerprints of an Antifa operation, it's the way they operate, dismissing it prematurely, I think is not a good idea. I think we really need to see a thorough investigation. Then there will be a report. Then we'll know what the true facts are.
Congressman, you keep saying don't rush to judgment. Wait till all the information is in. Wait till the investigation is over. Don't blame the rioters. Don't be like the fake news media. Can you define for us who or what the fake news media is? Seems like that phrase is becoming really a catchphrase for so many.
Well, the fake news media is the news media that, for political reasons or otherwise, gives bad information knowing that it is bad information. And I haven't looked and evaluated the local TV stations much, although I do recall an incident once with Channel 48 where they accused me of grossly overspending on expenditures when we informed them that we had done our expenditures and done them early in the year where we could get discounts, so that by the end of the year we actually were well below budget, and the story was run anyway. So I would have considered that one to be an example of fake news. But by and large, when I see what goes on at the national level, and I'm not limiting it to any one network, there's a lot of bad information that's coming from both the conservative and the left-wing media outlets.
All right, Congressman Mo Brooks,
to me, that's
we
fake
appreciate
news.
your time. All right, thank you, sir. All right, Liz, in also getting back to the fake news media, it does seem, though, that it is often used when we try to ask questions that might be critical or to hold people accountable. That seems to be the catchphrase that is used instead of perhaps answering the question truthfully.
Absolutely. Thank you, Trent. And thank you for watching. We'll be right back.